Do you have the supplies that you need to keep your clothing in good repair during a long-term crisis? Check out this. Hey Provident Preppers, I'm Kylene, and this is my sweet mother-in-law, Emalie. And today she is here for a special video for us at the request of Joelle. She's one of our viewers, and she wanted to know what supplies, what sewing type supplies we needed to have on hand in the event of a long-term emergency. And so that includes like notions and fabrics. And when she asked, I immediately thought of Emalie because she is the best seamstress I've ever met, and she comes in handy all the time for our family. So today she spent a lot of time kind of thinking about what you might need, and she's going to show us.
Well, I think these days most of us have in our closets enough clothes to last a while. But the buttons might fall off, the hem might come loose, so I've tried to think of what we need to have on hand. So I think something really important is a good pair of scissors. I like a large pair and a small pair that will snip small things. And I like a pair of paper scissors because the children are going to cut their whatever out and ruin your scissors.
I do love how this says fabric only, right? So if you're sneaking the scissors to cut paper, it says right on it, fabric only.
If you're buying these supplies, watch the sales. Fabric stores and craft stores have wonderful sales. I bought these for half price, so just watch the sales. Of course, you're going to need an assortment of needles, and who knows what you will be stitching up, anything from a tent to your best dress. So an assortment of needles and needle threaders are very handy too. Zippers break, and this is a clothing zipper repair kit.
Okay, this is totally cool. Like, I did not know that these existed. I always just replaced the zipper. So I think definitely the zipper repair kit, that's really cool.
Well, and these days we just, if the zipper's broken, you toss it and go buy a new pair. But if you can't, that's a possibility. Some other things that you could use to mend clothing. For jeans, here's some iron-on jean patches. And other, for lighter weight fabrics, different colors. You can mend holes in things. This is some heat adhesive. But to use all of these, you need an iron. So let's hope that we don't have to go back. Feel how heavy that is.
Oh my goodness.
Let's hope we don't ever have to go back to those.
Oh man, ironing would make you buff, like.
Well, and then if you're ironing in the summer, that means the kitchen stove is going, if you have a kitchen stove. So.
Now, and I kind of love this. This is like cheater's hemming tape. So if your hem's coming out, you can just put it there and iron it. And
yeah, actually, some people use this just to put the hem in their dresses when they're making them. But anyway.
That's pretty cool.
That would be nice to have. Well, and if you don't have an iron, this might come in handy. It's fabric fuse, and I'm sure they use it for crafts. But you could mend a seam or put up a hem using dots of this. It's got instructions on the back.
So it's just kind of like a fabric glue that glues it all together.
Right, and of course you'd want to test it first and make sure that it looked right on the fabric that you're using. Elastic is always nice, remembering that it doesn't store forever, but sometimes the pajama waist, the elastic breaks or is too old. So,
and you know, one of the things that I noticed about that, when the pandemic first started and I needed to make masks, you couldn't find elastic anywhere. Like, it was gone. And it really is. There's all kinds of things that it's really important, and the elastic for the masks was very helpful.
Yes, it was. And for waistbands and a lot of things, elastic is really nice. Oh, buttons. Buttons fall off. You can buy buttons. This little assortment of shirt buttons cost about I think it was $2 or $3. So you could buy different assortments, and whether you have what will look good on whatever you're fixing, I don't know. Another thing that you can think about is when you get a garment, sometimes they come with little extra buttons. So be sure you label those and put them in a safe place so that when that button comes off, you're ready for it. And safety pins are always nice to have to fix things in a hurry or whatever. Thread, of course, if you're going to be sewing things up, you need thread. This is a little assortment that I bought at the grocery store. There's 12 spools of different colors with a needle threader and some needles, but there's only 25 yards on each spool, and I just don't think that's going to last.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of thread, but there's not a lot of thread.
There's not a lot of thread. So if you are a sewer, you probably have a stash of threads, but make sure you have enough to last. And keep your thread out of the air. Have it in some kind of a container because the air will.
Does it, the air degrades it?
The air does.
Interesting. So a nice airtight, like a Tupperware container or something where.
Yes. Now, if you have a machine, of course, you're going to think about your machine and see what it needs. It needs needles, all kinds, jeans, stretchy, all kinds that you might possibly use. And let's hope that we have electricity for our machines.
And if you don't have power, that's where I come in. Even this little power station will run this sewing machine for about 7 hours continuously, which usually doesn't happen. Now this is charged using household power, or in a grid down situation, we're talking about solar powering this to be able to run this. Got you covered.
Jonathan, you're my superhero.
I think I'm going to have to get one of those.
You have a really good little boy, Grandma.
So make sure that you have everything you need. My sewing machine uses, I have to buy new bobbins for it. And so I have to have a year or two worth of bobbins, because if I don't have the right bobbin, I don't have a machine. So those are some important things to think about. Pins, these are just some things that are nice to have on hand. And if you have a machine and you have children, children do grow out of their clothes. And at such a time, think like your great-grandmother did. You can cut up Dad's pair of trousers and make them into smaller trousers. You can take Mom's old coat and cut it down and make it to a coat for a child. But you also, I think it's also nice to have, if you've got children, nice to have some denim or some twills, some all kinds of fabric that you might use. And it would be good to have some basic patterns, which I had some here somewhere.
I think they might be hiding right there.
There they are. And, just some basic patterns. This one has pants, a shirt, a jacket, and a vest. And it comes in sizes 7 to 12. So just think about your children or your grandchildren and what sizes would they need, and upgrade as you need. And I think sturdy fabric for some pants would be really a welcome thing. If there's a baby in the possibilities, then you need to think about diapers. And when I was a young wife, we would go buy 10 yards of diaper flannel and make our own flannel diapers. So I was curious. I just went. I went to the fabric store and asked for diaper flannel. And I did find it online, but this was all they had in Joann's in diaper, and it is a bird's eye weave.
And it's super thin.
Well, we didn't like bird's eye diapers. When I had children in diapers, we called them pea strainers because it just seems like it went right through them. So anyway, that was all they had, and that cost $1 just for
that much.
That much, oh dear. So I think flannel is a really good thing. Diaper flannel, of course, and other flannel. It makes good pajamas. It makes good lining for pants. It's just a good material to have on hand. And if you are thinking about diapers, well, I started a diaper collection a long time ago. Actually, it was Jonathan. Decided they were going to use cloth diapers. And I thought that was a very noble thing. And so they bought the cloth diapers and they used them for about 3 days. And that was the end of that. So they were going to throw them away. So I just said, well, I'll take those diapers. And I thought at that time it was for my grandchildren. Now I'm still saving them for my great-grandchildren. So I think if there's any possibility that you might need diapers, 10 yards of diaper flannel would be a really good investment. And who knows, you know, there are adults for one reason or another that are wearing Depends. And again, that would be a good thing. Now, I did save some plastic pants, and I'm sure these have been stored for 20 years, but they still seem to be in good shape. I don't know how long they would last, but they do sell a fabric that is a polyurethane laminate, and it's PUL, and I don't know if they just call it PUL, but it is polyurethane. It is waterproof. It's stretchy.
I like this. That's really cool.
It is, and it's breathable, so baby won't get diaper rash. And there are patterns that you use, diaper flannel or whatever you want, and you put this on the outside. And it says that it's washable for many washings, and it says, and for many children. So I assume that it's, at least they say it's
durable.
It's durable, and they put it on the outside of the diapers. And I wondered even if you could just kind of make a plastic pant. I don't know if that would work, but
as long as you had elastic.
Oh yeah, elastic. But I just think it's a good thing to have on hand. It's very, you know, you could cover the baby's mattress with it and make a good mattress cover. I just think it would be a really good thing to store. And
I think about it, and even feminine products, this might come in handy for the liner, right? To line the underneath part.
And it comes in all kinds of prints, but I really, I thought white it's pretty doable. Another thing that happens is that socks get holes in them. And right here. This is darning cotton. And your great-grandmother used to have a mending basket, and it had this in it. This is darning cotton, and she would put a wooden egg-shaped thing in the sock and mend the holes. And I couldn't find this in the store, but I did find it online in white and black. But as we were just saying it looks an awful lot like embroidery floss. Oh, I just thought, I think I'm going to try, if I ever decide. Nowadays, if we have a hole in the sock, we throw it away. But what if we couldn't get another one?
It's true.
It's true. And, I forgot to show you my shirt.
Oh, yes.
Buttons. So this is a shirt that was worn out and going to be thrown away, so we cut a mask out of it. We wanted a white mask, so we cut a mask, but now I can harvest the buttons before I throw it away, and that's another way to collect buttons. As your fabric gets worn out, then save the buttons, be a button collector.
And I think that's really important to learn how to be frugal. And that's one of the things that we do a lot is when we've worn out a shirt and it's just beyond, our ability to save it, I'll cut the bottoms off or the buttons off. If it's flannel, I'll actually cut it into 8x8 flannel squares to use for emergency toilet paper, right? And I've even started doing that with some of the t-shirts because while I don't like the t-shirts as much for the flannel squares or for the emergency toilet paper because it kind of rolls up, I think it's really good. Even if it was only used a couple times, just having it and not throwing it away, We're gonna have to learn to do that, I think. I think we need to learn to be more frugal.
We need to think more like our great-grandmothers did and save some of these things.
Yeah.
And speaking of socks and holes, this isn't sewing, but socks can be knitted. And
Look how beautiful that is.
you can make a thin sock that can be worn with shoes and take a chance to learn to knit. I had a friend that grew up in Denmark, and in Denmark, all first graders were taught to knit.
Wow.
And then they knitted their own socks. So I think anybody can learn to knit. And if you just go, when you buy get sock yarn, because it's fine and thin. And I checked at Heinzelman's in Proble, and they have instructions to knit any size sock with any yarn that you have. And it just tells you how to do it. It's just inexpensive, and this would just be handy to have on hand. So, and sock yarn comes in beautiful, fun colors. So I just think everybody should learn how to knit socks.
That is awesome, Emalie. Thank you so much for sharing. There's a lot of really good stuff to think about here. So think about this. At the beginning of the pandemic, we learned some really good lessons about supply shortages, and we're seeing more supply shortages just lately. The strangest thing, like Emalie ordered 2 recliners, right? Rocker recliners, and they took over a year for her to get them. And so we don't know what the future holds, but right now, while we have things that we can buy, it might be a good idea to stock up on a few of these and just tuck them away. And you can feel a lot of calming peace knowing that it's there while you're learning how to knit your socks.
Yeah.
And so now for the question of the day. What supplies do you have in your sewing kit just in case of an emergency? Comment below. And thanks for being part of the solution.